In case you're curious about what happened at the October 26th Titusville City Council meeting, it was mostly citizens standing up and asking, sometimes even begging, the City Council to face the situation we're in regarding the Indian River Lagoon and to do something about it finally, instead of just saying stuff like, well, I voted for the half-cent tax. The next person you're going to hear talk to the Titusville City Council is Titusville City Attorney Emeritus Dwight Severs.
For the record, my name is Dwight Severs. My wife, Lori, is here with me before the clock starts. As you know, I submitted a video to the city to request that it be played. I was advised officially that it was not in a format that the city would be able to use on the broadcast system. So, unfortunately, I cannot ask them to show it because I've been advised it's not in a proper format. I think I know the real reason why I received that answer. In any event, I've handed out to you some material that I'll go over. This is a very serious matter with regard to my wife and me, and quite concerned about it. So the first page.
I was going to say, for the record, I know that I've seen the video.
Yes, I sent it to all of you.
Okay.
I thought it would be appropriate to illustrate the point to the audience.
Thank you.
What's going on? But in any event, the first page illustrates where we're talking about, and this is a city utility location map. There's a couple of manholes there. The westerly manhole was the one that was pumped out, and the line of Gray Street apparently was cleaned. You know where Riverside Drive, a fire hydrant, etc. was. The first picture you will see is a photo I took on September the 22nd at 7:25 a.m. I know the exact time and place because my i11 phone tells me and records it, so I know exactly when it was. This was a vac truck that was dumping into the gutter there, the inlet and front of the lift station. I took photographs. I have multiple photographs of the water that went down the gutter, etc. So I know it occurred. What exactly the vac truck dumped at that time, I have no idea. But it dumped it directly and it went out the outfall 30 feet away, right into the river, and it was coming right down towards our house. We don't think much of that. In any event, per the contract, I don't know whether this is a approved dump site, because the dump sites have to be approved, that the city approved this as a dump site. But it occurred, and I'm aware that it's occurred on more than one occasion as such. In researching, I found that the city has a contract with Hinterland for 3 years, $150,000 per year, primarily to rehabilitate stormwater pipes with cured-in pipeline. I have no objection, certainly, to rehabilitating as such. On October 14th, I received a video that was posted at the Indian River Lagoon discussion group page. That's the one I sent to you. It describes some brown, reddish discharge coming from the storm sewer, the same storm sewer, down in front of our house.
Here's the video he's talking about.
Nasty brown, reddish water. And that's where it's coming from. Good old Titusville. What do you think that is coming out of that pipe? Here in Titusville. Nasty.
The video shows our home, our dock, and a plume of nasty brown reddish water moving along the shoreline about 50 feet to 100 feet in front of our property.
I guess I'm having a concern because you text this to us, the video to us,
Yes.
and I sent you something,
Yes.
and apparently you don't agree with it.
Yes.
And, well, I just don't understand because the report is pretty clear of what's going on. And I certainly am in agreement. Since you sent the video to us, I don't think it would have been appropriate to show that to the public when, in my opinion, and as I told you, I'm in agreement with the report that things were fine. There was nothing wrong. We sent an inspector there. There was nothing wrong. So to speak about that, you may not like what you saw.
When did you send an inspector there?
I'm sorry. Hold on a second. What you may not like is the results of what the inspection was, but there was a member of staff that went to that site, investigated, and it came back with a report in which your husband got.
Okay.
So that is my concern. I just don't want us to be going down a rabbit hole when it's not necessary. You have a perfect right to say that I disagree with the report, but you came up with something you said that you didn't feel was correct. We investigated. It turned out that everything was on the up and up. So just to keep pushing it just because you don't like the answer is not, in my mind,
No,
appropriate.
I don't like the answer. I'd like to know when those people came.
Well,
Did they come Thursday when the stuff was pouring out
I
of the
think we
pipe?
need to
Yeah, hold
determine
on,
whether I
hold
have
on.
more time.
Here's where I am. I wanted to finish the presentation, and a lot of what you said is where I would come from. But I wanted to finish the presentation, just so we finish the presentation. So I think it's up for a vote right now. So let's go roll call vote, yes and no.
Oh, you want to vote again?
I want a roll call vote. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Good.
Okay. Member Stokel?
Yes.
Member Robinson?
Yes.
Member Jordan?
No.
Mayor Diesel?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Nelson?
Please extend the time 3 minutes for the completion of the presentation. Go.
Contractors shall remove all sludge, dirt, sand, rocks, grease, etc. at the downstream manhole of the section that's being cleaned. They never came to the downstream manhole to clean this section of the pipe. All they did is flushed out the pipe into the river. That's what they did. I saw it with my own eyes. And Mr. Jordan, you may not believe me, but that's what occurred. And this is not right.
All right. So, not to beat a dead manatee to death.
Say your name.
Laura Lee Thompson, 3550
Thank
Irwin
you.
Avenue. And I have the staff report. This is probably what got sent to Dwight, and it says the last sentence says since Public Works was not notified at the time of the video, the discoloration was not observed in person. The water flowing out of the pipe in the video appeared to be mostly clear. It's likely that the discoloration was due to the water in the stormwater pipes being tannic, along with sediment from the stormwater pipe and sediment on the bottom of the lagoon being disturbed. Tannic water is due to decomposing leaves, yard debris, and mulch within the water, and it causes the water to turn a reddish orange or tea-like color. Tannins are very common in the Indian River Lagoon and in stormwater discharges. Well, not really. Tannins are not common in the Indian River Lagoon unless it rains and our stormwater and ditches dump into the lagoon. It's not a natural thing, only if it had come out of a natural thing like Turnbull Creek or Flounder Creek, then it's natural. But coming out of ditches and coming out of stormwater and coming out of stormwater pipes, it's not natural. And all that fresh water is not natural. We've changed the salinity of the river over time. And so emptying a fire hydrant into the river is not natural either. We got to quit putting so much fresh water in the river. And if you listen to the guide, if you could have heard him over the screeching of the gears in the worn out lift station, you would have heard him say, Titusville again. That's the perception that the rest of the county has of Titusville. And you can't blame them. You drive on US 1 and look at the stormwater pond in Sandpoint Park, and you see plants that look like they came out of a science fiction movie because they grew so fast when they put the bee mats in, because there's so much nutrients. I'm not going to say what Stan calls it, but there's a lot of nutrients in the water in those ponds. And you look at the duckweed, and that's because there's too many nutrients in the pond. Well, guess where the water in those ponds is going? It's going in the lagoon. This is the only area in the state where manatees died of starvation. I got that right from Eric Sutton's mouth, the head of FWC. Manatees did not starve to death in other parts of the state. This is the only place they starved to death. This is the only place in the state where all of the seagrass is gone. And it's because what goes in the water in the north end of the lagoon stays in the water. It can't move. So if this is not one of Stan's 21 atrocities, it needs to be number 22. Thank you.